Investigating a chilling case, new evidence emerges from a high-profile murder investigation.
This is a case that I haven't. It's interesting how this news source is being fed by TMZ, and then how the private eye is jumping everywhere. Pay attention to that.
Private investigator Steve Fisher told News Nation tonight there was a burn cage incinerator and
we found a chainsaw, brand new
chainsaw
incinerator. And there's no purpose for a chainsaw to be at this rental house.
Famed defense attorney Mark Garagos.
This is not going to end quickly or easily.
It says even if David is indicted for murder, he has a good chance of being granted bail in LA County.
And guys, I got to tell you, I think he's a flight risk. I think that when we were looking at the timeline originally of Celeste being killed, right, and dismembered, and now we're not sure if she was decapitated or not based on the evidence that LAPD is presenting. I think he's an absolute flight risk, and during the murder he was going back and forth. Around the time he'd hop on a plane and be in France, he'd hop on a plane and be everywhere, and it only takes a matter of hours to go from one country to the next and take your own life if he wanted to, if he doesn't want to spend time. I don't think they should keep him. I don't think they should let him out on bail once he's indicted. I honestly don't. I think he's a huge flight risk.
The argument that will be made is it's a circumstantial case. He has not.
It is very circumstantial, by the way.
There is no risk of flight.
The body of the 14-year-old Hernandez was found in the trunk of David's Tesla in September. It could be several weeks before prosecutors conclude their presentation to the grand jury, but if David is indicted, he could be forced to surrender immediately.
I hope so. He's been out
the
too
LA
long.
County District Attorney's.
Now, listen, I want you guys to remember that this little girl was a little girl that David obsessed over, all right? A little girl. He could have at least treated her with enough dignity not to desecrate her body and leave her all decomposed in his trunk just a block away from the house. He could have had the decency to do anything. All right. Yeah, the burn box was not open. We're going to get to all that. And they're not giving us information on the chainsaw either, Jay the Italian cook. They're not saying if there's blood on it. I think they might say at one point it's unused. But LAPD is giving us different information. And the reason they're giving us different information, in my opinion, is because they don't want the details to be out there for them to combat. All right. So that's my opinion on that. Let's hop to the next one. We're going to get into a couple things about the chainsaw and the things on the indictment. And then we're going to go into the love triangle and the way he excuses the smell in his house, guys. All right. We're going to hear him excuse the smell. You guys know that if there's a smell of decomposition, that never goes away.
Silence and singer David could soon face murder charges in the death of a teenage girl. That's according to TMZ. We check in now with Branson Quirk in Los Angeles. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing over there?
We're doing well. So let's talk about this case involving David. So 14-year-old Celeste Hernandez was reported missing from her home in April of 2024. Her remains found inside a Tesla registered to David in an impound lot in September.
100%.
So witnesses have been testifying for a grand jury in the case. What are you guys hearing about a possible indictment?
Right. Well, murder charges are very much looming in this case against.
I mean, he looks dark anyway. And when you listen to his music, and of course, you can't indict someone on that. But when you listen to all the things, in my opinion, he's just hiding in plain sight, guys. He's probably laughing at the prosecutors with his little boyfriend. Like, what are these people doing? They found a body. They found evidence in the house. They went back multiple times. The private eye is handing it to them on a silver platter. All right, Tracy, sorry. Oh, don't ever apologize, girl. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. All right, no, I did not. It's not a screenshot. And please email me. It's not a screenshot. It's the actual card. It's a Visa card, girl. But I can't talk about that right now. So email me. Please email me immediately.
David, and David himself could very well be indicted. Now, we know that a grand jury has been hearing evidence from witnesses for a little bit, and most notably, one of the day-to-day managers of David named Robert Morgenroth. He was the most notable person that we heard about that has been heard from this grand jury, and we're told that while
So this is actually Fox News. We're going to hop on to TMZ in a minute, but TMZ is the source for all things David right now. It's wild. It's wild times to see Fox covering this with TMZ as their source. So I'm starting to get a little bit more credibility to what they're saying, and I'm checking across Fox, across the local stations, across TMZ, across News Nation to make sure it's all matching up with what they're saying, guys. Coffee and Coffee into Doug's studio. What's up? Happy New Year's Eve to you. And if you're in the future, Happy New Year's 2026, baby. Yeah, it does. It absolutely sounds like some kind of weird ritual. What's up, Shadow? Good to see you, my friend.
he was there, he was very much pushed to answer the question of why he did not call the police when he had noticed that Celeste Rivas had been missing for some time. And we're told by sources that at the courthouse during those several days, his response was essentially that he was not responsible for this, saying that it was not his job, and that his job was to continue the tour going. As we know, David was on a massive tour going on. He had to cancel all of those dates. Interscope Records also dropped him from their website very, very quickly. But as of now, we know that this grand jury is an investigative jury that votes on handing down indictments. And we know that the prosecutors do believe that David had something to do with this.
So we're one step closer to having him indicted, guys. And hold on. The reason I say that is because this grand jury is one that hands down indictments. All right. It's not one that collects evidence. They're ready to go. We're already a step or two ahead of what's been happening. Jennifer Soup says, I missed you. I couldn't get on live in a while. Too long. Holly, it's too weird. And now we know there's a love triangle. We're going to get to that after the chainsaw. We're going to get to the love triangle that I believe is the motive. And I have believed that's the motive since day one. I don't think that David wanted to take Celeste's life necessarily. I think he wanted to feel the power of taking somebody's life. I think he wanted to feel the power of cutting up a body and doing all the things that you're not supposed to do that would give you a rush that you can't get from anywhere else. From what you hear from murderers saying and people that are fixated, that's what I think. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Sending so much love to the crime crew. May all your wishes come true. 2026, here we come. PJ, good to see you, my friend. I never heard of him either until this case, but it's very relevant to having a young lady that was being abused. She was 12 years old when she met a much younger David, but much older. He was younger than he is now, but older than her. I think she was 12 and he was 17 at the time, but they were dating for years. And the parents knew, in my opinion.
Will be asking the grand jury to hand this indictment down.
And we know there was the connection between, the vehicle, that Tesla, but what do we know about the relationship between David and Celeste?
I mean, that's the biggest question right now, and we'll definitely be hearing more during the process of this trial that is most likely ramping up very quickly. This grand jury is going to be hearing witnesses all the way up to February, so you will not be seeing any indictment anytime soon. But in terms of the relationship, I mean, we saw photos of these two. They had met a long time ago, as early as when Celeste Rivas was 12 years old. We know that she was just a couple years older than that when she did pass away. So the relationship is very concerning on top of
It is concerning on top of it, and I feel like Hollywood is just ignoring that portion of it. LAPD, but we're not going to do that because we're the voice for victims and for children. Please, please, please pay attention to your children, to your grandchildren, because all the children, guys, this is happening every single day. Celeste's parents couldn't stop her from seeing David. They could have done something, but instead they took monetary gain, in my opinion. I've seen transactions that allegedly were given to, transactions that were given to her parents. So we'll see. Thank you for the gifted membership, by the way. Foxy and Synth member for 18 months. Long time. Happy New Year's. Played the ABBA song. My wish and my prayers for all of us. Send me a link, my friend. Send me a link. My internet's going slow right now, so it's hard for me to do anything
else we've heard.
All right, let's turn to P. Diddy now. So two of his sons want to share their.
All right, we're not going to P. Diddy. We're going to talk about the chainsaw and then the gay love triangle. All right, let's talk about the chainsaw because that's a fixation that the news is having and I'm having. Why did he purchase a chainsaw and why is the private eye just now sharing it? They found this out a month ago. What's the deal? Why is this moving so slow?
Every single time TMZ comes out with information about the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case from
That
their
too.
source, Steve Fisher either goes online or
Yep.
goes on a news
It's
station
weird.
to do the same exact thing. It's like a competition for attention off of this case between them. It's super weird. A couple of weeks ago, this PI came out and stated that he found a burn cage incinerator in David's Hollywood Hills rental home. It was unopened.
I actually think he was 17 when he met her at 12, but there's a possibility he could be 18. I'd have to go back to my other my playlist with it. There's a lot of details in this case, but what we can't combat is that he's a pedophile, all right? I'm never going to combat that. He's a weirdo and he's a pedo, and this has to stop. It cannot be okay just because he has money or just because this is Hollywood. And I feel like the media is kind of making it okay. They're not even talking about the fact that she was 12. All right. Michelle, thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. Please thank her if you got one. Yes. But they're neglecting to even talk about that. Why?
Unused. Well, last night after TMZ shared that their source let them know that David will likely be indicted on charges in the new year, Steve came out and stated that he also found a chainsaw unopened and unused in David's Hollywood Hills rental home in the garage. See what I mean when I say it's odd, the timing of what he's releasing? Like, he made this discovery months ago, yet sat on it. And he wasn't sitting on it to be able to provide more insight and clarity about this item with us, because he definitely didn't. He's clearly being strategic with what he's sharing and when he's sharing it, and it's for his own benefit, not the benefit of this case. Now, we know that Steve Fisher is great for throwing little tidbits of information out, but not providing full context.
Right. And then guys, he goes from panel to panel, which is what we can talk about today because we'll see him in some of those possibly today.